the word out and get fired up because we have a lot to talk about like we do every week. Welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm your host, Kalari GXC, and I am getting the word out on Spoutable and Twitter before we get fired up. And you know how we do. We will get started, whether chat fills up or not, because we have a lot to talk about in this crazy, chaotic world. And, I hope y'all had a good week. But I'm here to snatch edges. And the first edge that I'm going to snatch tonight is this motherfucker. The guy that I call the apartheid edgelord. The guy that decided that $44 billion was worth his dignity or whatever self-respect he might have had for himself. So busy trying to be the coolest kid online that you wasted $44 billion to turn Twitter into a fucking cesspool dump site. So much so that a lot of us went over to Spoutable instead, but knew because a lot of people can't quit Twitter, because I'm not going to call it X. X sounds like a failed porn site. But we knew that in order to organize, mobilize, and do right by the Harris-Walz campaign, we would have to use all of our social media platforms. That's why my crazy ass is back on Twitter. But to see this foolish fucker continue to use his influence to steer America towards fascism, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with him literally making sure that people go out of business for not advertising with him. I'm sick and tired of him trying to say that he wants Twitter to be this bastion of free speech, but only if you speak the way he wants you to speak. And I'm really terrified of the stuff that Pick sent me that I'm going to play for you in a moment to show you just how bad this motherfucker is. But need I remind you again, idiot spent $44 billion fucking dollars. $44 billion to try to be the coolest kid online on a site where it doesn't matter. I have you blocked. I have your little henchwench who is not against the anti-Semitism that you promote blocked. Because in my online experience, I don't need bigwigs who only give a fuck about their ends. Let me plug these headphones in because I forgot last week. And I did it before I fired stuff up. Now you might say, Ten, why are you so upset with Elon? Doesn't he do stuff for people? Isn't he a mogul? Isn't he a tech genius with his Neuralink, which after the clip I play you, might frighten you a bit more? And I say this as somebody who's literally writing sci-fi about human evolution via tech. But I got a character that is going to remind you of this motherfucker. Maybe a couple of them in the next book. But let me bop this ridiculous apartheid edgelords thing down. Because Musk's had a week of weighing in on shit that he probably shouldn't have. He should have just sat there and tried to unbrick his Teslas from water damage. But instead he decided to weigh in on the UK riots like an idiot. And now the UK has to develop tougher online rules for people who are spreading misinformation in the wake of that. So Bloomberg, Keir Starmer called for a mature conversation with social media companies to limit malicious content. Let me refresh that just really quick, because I don't want to miss that part. To limit malicious contents to stoke days of rioting in the UK. Now, for those of you who don't know or probably don't watch a lot of news things, the UK had several riots between far-right people and those who just want to live. Those who understand that what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now is not nuanced, cannot just be a black and white issue, but are passionate about their side versus the other side, and it boils to a head, and it often ends up violent clashes. Of course, Musk, instead of being a fucking adult, decided to use his Twitter platform to spout ignorance. And because of that, the UK now has to slam down new rules for online engagement because this shit is stoking literal riots. He found himself in an escalated online confrontation with Elon Musk, the billionaire. I would like to check those papers, especially since he wasted $44 billion and still ain't paying his fucking bills. Has to move the California branch to Texas. But the owner of Twitter, because I'm not calling it that letter, now the UK is mulling steps to tighten the regulation of platforms like Musk and finding it has few levers, especially when the owner is a major amplifier of misinformation. One step would be to revive a key position in the Online Safety Act, set to be implemented last year, giving authorities more power to force social media companies to curb harmful content, according to people more familiar with the situation. Musk posted claiming civil war is inevitable because he sends to believe that the new world order that he and other assholes like him is going to come from innocent people being harmed, riots being stoked, and damage being done. They want everything to burn so that they can take the collective ashes, piss on it, and say, now you're under our control. Musk's enormous reach and influence has limited government ability to force X to do and limit its racist content that has fueled violence on British streets and a dramatic illustration of power the global technology companies now wield. Starmer himself has avoided engaging directly online with the billionaire and doesn't plan to privately either after their initial confrontation for fear of getting into a war of words that the government risks losing. The people of asking for anonymity has disclosed in private matters. So after their initial confrontation, it seems like this man does not want to keep getting into back and forth with Elon Musk. It's crazy to me the way these people are bowing to his nonsense, but you can't help it. You can't help it because you know he'll just run to Twitter, take your words, twist them, and cause more damage. It's fucked up. I don't need Meta's stock thing. Get out of here. Musk really needs a wake-up call because proclaiming things like civil war is inevitable, yet wants a council, which I'm going to get to in a moment, for him a think tank, as he wants to call it. I call it the new Legion of Doom. It's scary the way this man, who's lauded as a genius, wants to usher us into technological fascism at that. And it's ridiculous. Don't underestimate the impact of what he can have, not just on public discourse, but on actual facts on the ground, Technological Secretary Peter Kyle told the Times. So the relationship we have with some of these companies is much more akin to negotiations with fellow secretaries of state. No, don't give them that kind of credibility. They're literal terrorists. You don't negotiate with terrorists, Britain, UK. But they say this because of the scope and the scale that these people have. The UK officials are discussing whether or not the Safety Act can even work for them. Very swiftly, the government has realized there needs to be amendments to the Online Safety Act. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has told the Guardian newspaper, I think the government should very quickly check to see if they can fit it for the purposes of using social media to spread such misinformation that leads to these attacks. It is dangerous to leave this unchecked. And this isn't the only danger Musk poses here and abroad. As I said, Musk has been going hard at people who refuse to advertise on Twitter now that he's tried to turn it into X, and has championed hate speech, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim sentiments, anti-LGBTQ plus sentiments. Any attacks on anybody who's openly Democratic or independent, because some of you independents think he's your savior. He's not. He don't like you fuckers either. He has gone on the record to support the wannabe dictator 45 in Project 2025. So when I say to you that this man is dangerous, look at this headline. Elon Musk's Twitter just sued a non-profit advertising group out of existence. It doesn't get any worse when you see somebody who claims to be a champion for voices of freedom go after somebody because they dare, look at that smug ass, not advertise on his shitty site. Thanks a lot, Jack. I know you got that bag, but come on, man. And no, I won't use your blue sky either. You burnt me enough. But a major ad industry group is shutting down days after Elon Musk owned Twitter filed a lawsuit that claimed the group illegally conspired to boycott advertising on his program. It's not illegal to tell other advertisers or warn other advertisers that advertising on this site will not be good for your brand. Advertising on a website that promotes hate speech, fuels civil conflicts, wants people to only speak in a way of fascism, it's not illegal, man. They're exercising their free speech. I just don't even understand Musk. GARM, a small, not-for-profit initiative, and recent allegations unfortunately misconstrued its purpose and activities, has caused a distraction and significantly drained its resources and finances, the group said in a statement Friday. GARM therefore is making the difficult decision to discontinue its activities, which is sad. The end of GARM marks a temporary victory for Musk and Twitter CEO Linda Yaccarino, even though the judge has not made a ruling yet. But it doesn't matter. At this point, even if the judge rules in favor of GARM, who is not malicious, they just wanted to use their power and voice to warn people about advertising on Twitter. The damage was already done because these fucking slapsuits drain the average people who don't have billions to waste on a social media site just so they can be the cool kid at the lunch table. No small group should be able to monopolize what gets monetized. This is an important acknowledgement and a necessary step in that direction, Yaccarino posted. Fuck you, bitch. She really is just the perfect hench wench to Elon Musk right now. Until he throws you under the bus too, heifer. However, the lawsuit could drive away even more advertisers from Twitter. Nandi Jimin and Claire Atkin, founders of the watchdog group Check My Ads Institute, wrote in an op-ed on Thursday. Everyone can see that advertising on X is a treacherous business relationship for advertisers. Not only that, but a lot of advertisers still, even though their paper routes prove otherwise, don't want to look like they're on board with this fucking fascism, even though a lot of them secretly are. Okay, let me see if I can scroll down just a little bit more for this story. The lawsuit claims that GARM organized to collectively withhold billions of dollars in advertising from Twitter because the group was concerned that the platform had deviated from the brand safety standards after Musk's acquisition in 2022. I mean, it goes without saying. He claimed that he wanted to roll back restrictions about blocking and stuff because he was flushing out bots. We know that's a lie. He wanted it to be for free speech. We know that's a lie because he literally just banned a group of men that were raising money for Kamala Harris's campaign being petty. But wants all the MAGA to let their freak flags and weirdo flags fly. The fact of the matter is you're bad for advertisers, Musk. And until Twitter lets you go or you finally sell it to the next dum-dum who hopefully won't be as stupid as you are bad for a business for a lot of advertisers. It wasn't GARM's fault. It's your own choices. GARM has over 100 members. 4 of those members, CVS, Unilever, Mars, and the Danish company brand Ørsted, were named as defendants in the suit filed in a federal court in Texas Tuesday because Musk fled to Texas. And Texas, he ain't paying California's bill, so you're in danger, girl. GARM was set up in 2019 after the Christchurch, New Zealand mosque shootings. After a person who used social media as a way to ramp up his bigotry and hate decided to take lives in a mosque and filmed himself and did Facebook Live. It was because of shit like this and people understanding the power of social media to either bring people together or cause discourse that these groups are necessary to warn advertisers that, hey, you might not want to place that ad on this site. They're causing these kind of unrest. But Musk and others don't want that. And it is scary. And that is why I love Spoutable, because we ain't like that over there. Many of brands face issue when their ads are placed next to illegal or harmful content, the group said in a statement. GARM said its group reduced such ads from 6.1% in 2020 to 1.7% in 2023. Brands raised similar concern when Musk acquired X in 2022, tanking the platform's core ad business. Many brands have pulled their spending over concerns that their ads might run alongside misinformation or hate speech, which Musk himself has occasionally promoted. More than occasionally, he does it way too much. The suit also continues Musk's habit of feuding with advertisers whose money he relies on. Last year, he told brands who left the platform to go fuck themselves. This is your leader. This is your genius tech leader. Like a childish idiot who can't take no for an answer. No wonder he sides with Trump. His henchwench in the video on Monday said that they conspired to boycott X, which threatens our ability to drive in the future. Your boy wasted $44 billion on something that Jack basically scraped together. He was an idiot, and he deserves all the fun loss. She said of the GAR members, adding that the loss of advertising dollars placed on the company at a long-term risk, even more so than not paying your employees properly, not paying rent on the buildings that Twitter employees were housing. Okay, then. Twitter also sued the Center for Countering Digital Hate, alleging the nonprofit group violated its terms of service when it studied that wrote about the hate speech on the platform and blamed it for driving away advertisers. A federal judge tossed the suit in March, blasting it as an attempt to punish the CCDH for protected speech. Twitter also sued the progressive watchdog group Media Matters over its analysis, highlighting anti-Semitic and pro-Nazi content on Twitter. A report that appeared to play a significant role in massive and damaging brand revolt last year. I mean, if you don't want people not to advertise with Nazis, maybe stop giving them an open platform. Musk. The case is set to go to trial next year. The fact of the matter is this man is damaging not only to the brand of Twitter, but to anybody actually looking for free speech. But it doesn't even stop at this. And I thank Pix for getting me this clip, because it should speak volumes to anybody what his agenda is.
Government Efficiency Commission.
Nice. Yeah.
And I would be willing to be part of that commission.
Of course you
How
would.
hard that is.
The antibody reaction.
He's a wannabe Lex
You're
fucking Luthor. This is bullshit.
attacking the Matrix at that point.
The Matrix.
The
Stop.
Matrix will fight back.
Stop it. You're not a tech overlord. You're not going to be a god. People are not going to get superpowers from Neuralink, you weirdo. I literally say this as somebody who wrote a novel and its sister novel based on technology, empowering humans, reaching the next evolution via it. We will not do it through the man who blows up spaceships and makes cars that can be bricked by water.
I have discussed with Trump the idea of a government efficiency commission.
What?
Nice. Yeah.
And I would be willing to be part of that commission.
Of course you
I don't know
would.
how hard that is.
The antibody reaction would be very strong.
Yes.
You're attacking the
Antibody.
Matrix at that point.
This is stupid.
Matrix will
That's
fight
why I'm
back.
replaying it. I want you to
I
hear
have
how
discussed
stupid
with
that
Trump.
is. Antibody means people who don't want to be controlled by tech oligarchs, who don't want people to be forced into shit that we don't want to be forced into, like what Project 2025 wants. It is scary that these beings think that their money will let them be unchecked. The body that they're talking about are we, the people who want to protect our democracy against assholes like this. And like I said, the man who literally bricks fucking vehicles and blows up space shuttles, being in charge of a governing body that will force us into his version of the Matrix. Elon, stop watching fucking movies and just go educate yourself. Maybe log off for a bit and educate yourself. Because we know your degrees are honorary. So don't miss me with that, oh, he's a genius. What do you got? I got an actual degree, dum-dums. But we are going to move on to some political news because that man irks me. And we got a lot to talk about still. We are going to move on to my friend Kenny, who highlights the Michigan rally that VP Harris and her co-ticket member Tim Walz did, where these Palestinian protesters, if you can even call them that, because we got a sect here in Michigan, mostly Lansing and that area base, who seems to think that they can force our government into hearing their demands, and don't seem to understand that the other side will not work with you at all on what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now. But they want to shut down and stop the words of a candidate who will work hard to not only go against what Netanyahu is doing to the Palestinian people, but also stand up for those hostages that were taken by Hamas. Because like I said, this is not a nuanced situation, and it is very frustrating to me that people still want to treat it like it is. And we know that yous are what you're doing, and I need you to know it's not going to work. But welcome to the chat, Terry Antico. He is delusional, but it's scary that he thinks he's untouchable. I'm going to play some Kenny right now. Oh no, this is Lawrence O'Donnell. I want to play Kenny's thing, so let me bop that down. We're also going to talk about Governor Abbott in just a bit, because he is just a piece of crap. And I want to bring up this first before we get to the other news stories. This is my friend Kenny. He has been passionate about politics all his life. He is definitely down for supporting our Democratic Party, but he holds people's feet to the fire when he has to as well. And when we say what VP Harris had to put up with during her rally, when these motherfuckers are too scared to do it at a Trump rally, and they got idiots like No Edge, Nina Turner talking about they would be heard there anyway, so what's the point? And other people, well, this isn't a good look for the Democrats. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up and let the madam speak. But we're going to play this video because Kenny lays it down in 3 minutes, and I agree with everything he says.
I think a lot of y'all must have fell out of coconut tree because y'all are missing the context of
Mm-hmm.
everything that came before this moment.
And the intent to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Exactly.
Let me summarize this. Before the rally, Vice President Kamala Harris met with the co-founder of the organization that led the uncommitted movement during the primaries to show solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Yes, she was here in Michigan.
Of the families that were affected and killed in Gaza, and was willing to listen to an embargo request. I just love how so many people have so much shit to say about how she should have handled it who weren't even there.
Yep.
The attendees at the rally actually uploaded a video, which I will post in a minute, where she said that they were yelling and screaming at Vice President Kamala Harris disrespectfully as she asked them politely several times and for several minutes, and they refused to simmer down. People had traveled for hours just to hear Vice President Kamala Harris and couldn't hear over the heckling.
And not to interrupt Kenny, who's dropping the receipts, I wish I had known about the Michigan rally, because I definitely would have been there, and I would have been telling that motherfucker, shut up and let the president, soon-to-be president, speak. The nerve of these people wasting time and people's energy by yelling because they think that's protesting. I can't with these people. Listen to this. It is ridiculous.
We got here because just a week ago, Kamala Harris went on record saying that she supports a ceasefire, an immediate ceasefire.
Exactly.
Removing IDF soldiers from Gaza.
Yes.
And sending aid to the Palestinian people and trying to work on a two-state solution.
Yes.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people
Yes.
fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time.
Hospitals
We
bombed.
cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire,
Exactly.
including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely.
What is
Yeah.
the goal here other than trying to get Trump elected?
Yeah.
It's Trump on the opposite end of this because there's only two viable candidates, Harris or Trump. Kamala Harris, who supports the ceasefire, versus Donald Trump, who said that he wants to level Gaza and he wants to quote-unquote finish them.
Said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it.
Look at the horror on Joe's face.
but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
The same Donald Trump who wants to reinstate a Muslim travel ban. The same Donald Trump who said he would expel any immigrant that is protesting for a pro-Palestine movement.
And not only that, because with him at Project 2025, we'd all be rounded up and black bagged. So let's get that straight. But as somebody with a personal story, and since I know certain people are watching this, and I'm not sorry for my views, but you asked for proof about what happened 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, when I spent 2 of the previous years helping my neighbors get their mother from Bangladesh over here, and they happen to be Muslim. The woman was 73 years old, coming over to spend time with her family, her last days with the newest grandbaby that they had just had. And it took us 2 years of dealing with, not ICE, but the CDC, I believe, and so many government agencies to verify her paperwork, verify that her views weren't controversial as a 70-year-old grandmother's. And when we got her over there, which was not a cheap thing at all, it cost them thousands of dollars. The moment that motherfucker got in the office, she was one of the people that they took and detained because of her status. This doesn't just affect people you don't know. This affects loving families who happen to worship Muslim. And it's a fucked up way to be, trying to protest the side that would open you with welcome arms, listen to your concerns, and try to work with them, to the guy that will round you the fuck up and put you on list and want you to be the American boogeyman for your faith. Way to go, protesters.
Movement. So again, what's the goal here?
Exactly.
Now I'm starting to see a targeted and an orchestrated effort attacking black people who are encouraging people to vote. I've seen it on TikTok.
Yep.
I've seen it for people who are actually even pro-Palestinian, who've actually advocated and used their platform to uplift the Palestinian people and asking for their liberation.
Yep.
But they're telling black people right now to sacrifice ourselves, sacrifice our rights, and to sacrifice our lives, and allow Republicans to destroy our families and our communities.
Exactly.
Also simultaneously claiming to be allies.
You're not.
Who's really speaking from both sides of their neck?
Exactly. And Kenny said it better than a lot of us could. The fact that there are people out there that want to conflate what is going on in Gaza and Israel and everything that's going on with, well, we need somebody like Trump. He'll be better for us, will he? Because like I said, he rounded up Muslims, including a 73-year-old grandmother, for her faith. This man wants war because him and them Project 2025 dimwits think that they can usher in the apocalypse. They'll be raptured and everybody will just convert and it'll just be a Christian Messiah land. This is what we're up against. And you do not negotiate with people who don't even see you as human because your faith is different than them. But you just want to play games. You want to make it harder for people who are already struggling to be recognized as human citizens in our own country. Even though we are generations strong in here. And that's why we can't fuck with y'all. Because yous would do us dirty every fucking time. And honestly, the proof is in the pudding with the cruelty. Let me bring this up before we get to the crazy bear guy. This is the shit that people want us to be governed by. Texas Governor Abbott orders hospitals to collect and send data on patients' immigration status. They want a fucking watch list and they want hospitals to be complicit in that in Texas. This is the shit that you want leading our entire nation, right? As you protest a woman who would stand up for the Palestinian people if you let her get in, you Nimrods. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed an executive order on Thursday requiring hospitals to ask patients about their immigration status to help the state determine the cost of providing health care to non-citizens. Now, I'm going to tell you something I've learned living in Florida and several other states. Most people who are here without proper immigration status aren't just going to hospitals. And now you are making a health crisis unnecessarily because they won't go to any centers in Texas now. You are going to cause danger and chaos and destruction because of your bigoted ways. Because y'all need a boogeyman to keep your societal perch. It's sickening. Beginning November 1st, Abbott is indirecting hospitals in Texas to gather data on patients who are not lawfully present in the United States, which they will not get, because I'm telling you right now, this law is going to keep people out of hospitals that might need treatment, and it is going to cause problems for you, Texas, as well as the number of inpatient discharges and emergency visits for health care. Fuck you. Texas said Health and Human Services Commission must provide regular reports to state authorities, the order says. Abbott highlighted the influx of migrant at Texas' shared border with Mexico, and he said they impose burdens on the Texas healthcare system and increase the cost of Medicare for all. Fuck out of here. You know what? This is the spiel that they use to divide all of us. This is the spiel that they tell people as they watch Fox News propaganda channel. Oh, it's just the Mexicans coming over here, taking your health care, rising up stuff. It's not the private corporations buying these health centers and hospitals that nickel and dime every expense. It's not the insurance companies making sure that they get paid before they pay out the hospitals for your care. They don't want you to look at the broken system and ways to fix it. They want you to look at the broken system as ways to scapegoat other people seeking asylum, seeking a better life for themselves and their family. They want you to be their little foot soldiers for fuckery for hate. And they want you to coalesce under this doofus. Or, I was going to say Trump, but let's get to this doofus really quick. Because the spoiler candidate, RFK, just had his trial adjourned, which may make it where he can't run for president, which, fingers crossed. We don't need the bear carcass guy. The guy that goes, oh no, I keep roadkill in my freezer all the time. You're a fucking weirdo, and we don't need you running for president. But according to this, the case that could keep RFK off New York's presidential ballot has ended. Whew, good Lord. In Albany, New York, a judge is expected to decide soon whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr. falsely listed a New York resident as an independent presidential candidate, and he fights to get on the state ballot in November. A non-jury trial in Albany over Kennedy's New York nominating positions should be invalidated ended Thursday, with Justice Christina Ribber issuing an immediate decision. Any ruling by a trial judge is expected to be appealed. Those Americans want to see me on the ballot. They have a choice, Kennedy says. Bullshit. We don't want the bear carcass guy on the fucking ballot. Get the fuck out of here. He's gone on the spiel that he's wanted. I'm going to make it quick. No, we don't, bear carcass guy. Moving on. Because this is the guy everybody that's fighting for this fascism wants people to coalesce around. The liar with chronic diabetes, Donald Trump. Trump's tale of a harrowing helicopter ride and emergency landing. It didn't happen. Willie Brown, who he name dropped, said. And our media, who chased down VP Harris and then said, oh, she doesn't want to answer hard-hitting questions about the lies this man told, is fucking ridiculous. But I'm going to get to the broken estate, fourth estate, too. But Willie Brown is somebody who has had a past history with Kamala Brown. He went from mentor to former partner, intimate partner, which is none of y'all's business, to her ex. He was married at the time. She was young. It is what it is. Some of you want to be on a moral high horse when the walking, talking guy to the 7 deadly sins lies about being in a helicopter with Willie Brown so that he could take a nasty dig at Kamala Harris, and it failed. Except for our media, who loves to eat this shit up. They call it their chocolate sundae, I guess. Former President Donald Trump mixed up two prominent politicians from California when he told a harrowing tale of an almost crash in a helicopter. Now, I remember a MSNBC figure doing that, Brian Williams. He lied about a helicopter thing. He does, Terry Antico, chronic diabetes. But he lied about being in a helicopter crash during the Iraqi war, and he is still lambasted about it. But do you think our media, our broken fourth estate, will tell this man to stop fucking rambling? You think our media will hold him to task for getting Sherrod Brown and other people mixed up with Willie Brown, who didn't even fly the helicopter with him? Several sources, including current Governor Gavin Newsom, said it didn't happen. Willie Brown definitely said it didn't happen. The man that he was getting it mixed up with said this didn't happen. Yet this man will boastfully lie to the media and beyond about an incident that didn't happen. He said the helicopter was forced to make an emergency landing, which didn't happen. These comments were in response to a question about the relationship between Brown and Vice President Harris 30 years ago. But Brown has never shared a helicopter with Trump, a former mayor said. Instead, it was Governor Jerry Brown that got Sherrod and Jerry. Sorry about that. Even I can mess up. But at least I admit that I got it wrong when I said Sherrod. It was Jerry Brown who rode with Trump in a helicopter in 2018 to survey wildfire damage, and no emergency landing was reported. I know Willie Brown very well, Trump said in the alleged incident. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe it was the end. This is the bullshit that this rambling grandpa keeps pulling, and we just allow it. And why do we allow this dumb shit? Because our fourth estate is literally broken. And we are going to get to that. Let me see. No, that's not the one. We're going to get to that with Lawrence O'Donnell. Just give me a moment, because I want to pull this up. That's Kenny. Did I move him down? Let me see. There we go. Yeah, here we go. This is Lawrence O'Donnell, one of the few people that I used to watch when I did watch MSNBC before I just got sick and tired of the bullshit, because they want to call it the liberal station, but they're really just paid actors a lot of times. But I will say I've always given Lawrence O'Donnell credit. Liked him way better than Chris Hayes. Definitely better than Mr. Como over, who should not have been head of Meet the Press anyway. Definitely better than the old guy that had questionable things that liked to yell. I couldn't stand his stuff, and I'm glad, because he was like, I want us to go back to the days of Archie Bunker. Okay, Grandpa, chill out. But Lawrence O'Donnell has always been kind of the voice of reason on MSNBC, and he has always been somebody that if I hear a clip of him, I very rarely shake my head in dissent. So we're going to play this right now because he has a message for our broken fourth estate, and I agree with it. It's 2 minutes, y'all. Let's get it popping.
In full and unedited, as if live, everything that Kamala Harris said today in her speech in Michigan, which all of the networks knew was coming. They knew what time it was coming. They knew how to cover it live, and they didn't.
Yep.
After giving Donald Trump more than an hour of live coverage on all of their networks.
And before he goes on, this has been a constant. They did it in 2015, 2016. Constantly covering that man in all his awfulness over Hillary Clinton. And now they're trying to do it again. But the difference is, we don't need you motherfuckers. We have social media. We have groups. We have gatherings beyond. Your polls suck, and we know it, because you ain't polling us, because we don't answer our phones like that. So we know that our fourth estate cannot be trusted in this election season. It's bad business for you guys. Because when the smoke and dust settles, a lot more of us are going to turn you off and stop clicking on your publications, because we know you were down for fascism. But do go on, Mr. O'Donnell.
It's 2016 all over again. The same mistakes are being made. I have never seen an industry slower at learning from its own stupid mistakes than the American news business.
Get him, Lawrence.
And you cannot expect them in the next 89 days to figure out what they haven't been able to figure out in 9 years, how to cover a Trump for president campaign.
Yep.
One of the Harris-Walz campaign slogans now is, we're not going back.
Yep.
We just went back today. We went back 9 years in the press coverage of the campaign, the media coverage. Donald Trump gets credit from the people he lied to today for lying to them. They appreciate it. Reporters understandably and incorrectly believe that the most important thing a candidate can do is answer their questions. But they don't know what an answer actually is. Words spoken after their question marks are not necessarily answers and are never answers when they come from Donald Trump.
Yep.
There are rumblings in the news media now about Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate not doing what Donald Trump did today. Stand up in front of reporters and take their questions. And some of the tinier minds in the news media continue to give credit to Donald Trump for standing up and lying in response to every single question they ask. A lie is not an answer. Donald Trump never answers those questions. Never. Anyone in the news media who tells you that Donald Trump has answered reporters' questions and Kamala Harris hasn't is lying to you. And they're too stupid to know that they're lying to you because they don't know what an answer is.
Exactly. Lawrence has said what so many of us are feeling right now. That just anger at the fact that they will let that man ramble on, spew lies about being in a helicopter crash on top of insulting Kamala Harris's heritage and everything else. And then they go, well, Kamala Harris doesn't speak to us. She refuses to do these pressers. But you won't cover her rallies? You refuse to do your job as journalists, and you just want to be spoon-fed bullshit. And then you want to spread that bullshit to us watchers, and we're sick of it. We've seen that the fourth estate has been broken for decades now. And you aren't doing yourselves any favors continuing stuff like this. That is why independents like me and many others have just created our own platforms to help spread truth against the factose intolerant. To help navigate people who don't understand that our media are not on our side with us. Because they think they'll be safe in a fascist I'm not even going to say democracy. A fascist theocracy run by Project 2025, Heritage House, and Donald J. Trump, and the couch fucker. And oh yeah, I've seen it all over Twitter. People asking, well, why can't we have gentlemanness and decorum for the MAGAs who called a pizzeria a pedophile ring? Who attack politicians based on conjecture and feelings? On people who literally leave racism and other hateful stuff, who don't mind Nazis marching down the street, but a Black Lives Matter protest is a bridge too far? Are you fucking for real right now? I'm not here for decorum no more. I played that when we go low, where they go low, we go high bullshit in 2016. And where did it get us? 4 years of fuckery. 4 years of life loss. 4 years of destabilization in a preventable pandemic. So now, the nice is done. I came back to fight. I came back to fight for my country. I came back to fight for my democracy. I came back to fight for the freedom that these motherfuckers will take from us women, the LGBTQ+, black and brown, and Asian, Southeast and regular Asian, for Muslims, for Jewish people, for even you white people who think you'll be safe because your skin is white but your bank account's not big enough for that protection. I am here to fight. I ain't here to play nice. So if you don't like me calling J.D. Vance the couch fucker, maybe look elsewhere. Because I'm not here to be a gentleman. I'm a lady. And a lady that fights. Welcome to the chat beans. Exactly. The fuck your feelings crowd can't shut the fuck off. And I agree, Terry Antico. The gloves are off because these people expect them to just roll over and take the constant disrespect. The constant misogyny and racism and bigotry, from homophobia to anti-Semitism to anti-Muslim sentiment. Y'all uplift the seeds of hate and constantly want to plant and root us down with those shits and don't want any press back. No, the time for decorum is dead. The time to drag you motherfuckers the way we should have been dragging you all this time is here now. And if you don't like it, I suggest you leave. So many of you are threatening to leave. You got assholes like Lil Pump who the fuck even knows who the fuck you are? You SoundCloud rapper. And other motherfucking MAGA rappers. Why are you using rap? You don't even like black people. To say, Kamala Harris gets elected, we're leaving. Bye! Don't threaten us with a good time. See you. But their hatred cannot steal our joy. We can fight and drag these motherfuckers and still have joy, y'all. That is what it's about. And speaking of joy, we have this lovely phone call that VP Harris made to Tim Walz, invite her to be her running mate. And I just thought this was so sweet. So I'm definitely going to play this right now for y'all, because this is what I want to see leading our country, whether people don't like it or not.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President. The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify.
We're not going back.
And remind everyone that we are fighting for the future for everyone.
Exactly.
So let's get out there and get this done, okay?
Let's do it. Do the work in front of us. Let's win this thing.
That's right. All right, buddy. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
And that, y'all, is why I, as much as I can't stand it, I had to go back on Twitter, unlock my account, start engaging and interacting, because I did miss a lot of people that I'm talking to them on the daily again now. Honey. But besides them, I was enjoying the break from constantly fighting with people. And it just troubles me that people can look at those two people and be angry against them because they don't look like you or act like you. Because they're not going to parrot ushering women into literal dangerous situations when it comes to our birth and giving birth and our reproduction of organs. Who are not going to tell you who to hate, because we want less enemies and more people moving into a productive future. I am just so sick of giving in to these hateful mobs, but I cannot let them exhaust me. I can only fight their factose intolerance with actual fact. But we are going to wrap this up with two more of my favorite videos from Dark Brandon. This first one shows their support, their channel's seeming support for the Harris-Walz campaign, because a lot of us understand what's on the line if we don't. This isn't fear-mongering. Project 2025 is out there, and they have not backed down from it. Trump tried to distance himself from it, but this is his manifesto as much as it is the Heritage Foundation and all you fucking companies that thought, we'll play nice and act like we're not down for fascism in people's face while they buy our brands, but we'll shovel money into this, because if people fall in line, that's better for our business, which it's not. Dystopia is not good for business, dum-dums, but I digress. But we're going to fire off some Dark Brandon, because I need a palate cleanse after all of this. And when we fight, we get tired, we rest, and we come back exactly, Beans. Girl, the fact that the GOP gets so upset over being called weird, it tickles me. Me too. And the fact that they're mad at the couch fucker thing and the dolphin sex fantasy thing. Your boy is the one that put those shit out there. And I don't care if you think we're being immature or, oh, please think of the couches, like John Fournier, whoever the fuck he is, wanted to say, oh, you should know better than MAGA. MAGA are literally in our comment section constantly threatening us. Constantly using racial slurs, praising Nazis. We are not like them. They are not like us. And we are not going to let idiots like you gaslight us from dragging these mofos. I'm not here to be polite. I'm here to win. And let's get some Dark Brandon fired up, because I know what I'm doing in November. I'm not going to be swayed by anybody calling for decorum. I'm not here for decorum. I didn't sign up to help with the campaign for decorum. I came to win.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Lester Holt. Good day. We're coming on the air with breaking news. Sources inform NBC News that
Why they do Lester like
Kamala
this?
Harris has selected Tim Walz as her running mate. Harris is now informing the
His face looks like it's falling asleep.
This makes the Democratic ticket official. Harris-Walz.
Look at that.
Heading into the party convention later this month. Tim Walz, the governor, popular two-term governor, elected in 2018. He is a former high school teacher,
a former U.S. representative. So he has the
for 12 years.
record and resume for this.
60-year-old also served for more than 2 decades in the Army National Guard. Harris and Walz will appear together for the first time later today at a rally in the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
And with that and the call that she made to him, you could see how well-rounded this ticket is. Neither one of them want to trump each other. They just want an America that's good from the East to the Midwest to the West. They want the South to feel like they're being heard too. And even Brian Kemp, who I still don't like and I still think Stacey Abrams should have fucking beat handily, has said Trump is not good for us. You've got well-known Republicans saying this ain't it. How much more do you need? All of you wannabe flag-waving patriots that want to usher us into religious theocracy. Is it really the America you're thinking of? Let's see what Dark Brandon has to say about this. Because they did something about America that I feel really will speak to those of us fighting to protect democracy.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
On the Statue of Liberty from my
refuse
hometown.
Of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Now let's parse this out, because it's bloody important. These words, etched into the foundation of the Statue of Liberty, they're not just poetic fluff. No. They represent a fundamental ideal, a cornerstone of the American ethos, if you will. Immigrants, you see, they're not just an accessory to the American story. They are, in a very real sense, the bedrock upon which this nation was built.
Exactly.
It's a historical fact. But more than that, it's a psychological and sociological reality. Those who turn their backs on immigrants, well, they're not just rejecting a group of people. No, it's far more profound than that. They're rejecting the very ideals that shaped America.
Yes.
It's akin to a person denying their own ancestry or their own narrative. America, at its core, is a nation of immigrants. To deny that is to deny reality itself. And let me tell you, denying reality is a dangerous game. It leads to chaos, both internally and externally. So the next time you encounter anti-immigrant sentiment, remember this: embracing immigrants isn't just a matter of policy. It's about staying true to the fundamental principles that made America what it is. It's about responsibility, opportunity, and the pursuit of a better life. And isn't that what we're all after in the end?
Yes. I think that was such a beautiful animation because it does speak volumes. And I know that's easier to divide. We have plenty of people who are literal adult descendants of slaves that pull this anti-immigrant bullshit. People like fucking Bakari Sellers that sells books trying to turn black communities against immigrants. Because, quite simply, even though America is a nation who were and still is fueled by people who come over here from other countries building successful stories, it was built on the backs of the people who were dehumanized. And I don't want people to forget that aspect either, because sometimes it is overlooked. And sometimes it does make some of us feel a certain way when we praise immigrants yet forget about the foundation of this nation being built on the backs of our ancestry. An ancestry that was continuously for centuries dehumanized and then terrorized after that when we were freed. But this isn't to pit us against each other. Because anybody with a financial background or any kind of liquor sense knows that a robust economy is fueled by the people who come over here from overseas, the Caribbean, Mexico, Canada, anywhere in the world where they feel they can create opportunities in the U.S., whether it's via acting, sports, hard work and labor, opening businesses, becoming educators. The American dream is supposed to be just that, where anybody can come in, step up, and become a productive member of society. But we have allowed hate mongers to drive a wedge between us, to cause friction and enemies, because we're easier to control and conquer when we do shit like that. And that is not the America any of us should want, whether we are generations in through our ancestry of both slavery and indigenous, whether our ancestors came over here from China, the Philippines, other Southeast Asian countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, whether you came over from Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico, the Dominican Islands, no matter where you originally hailed from, the moment you got your citizenship, you became a part of the fabric of America. And there are so many just looking to get those papers so that they can legally be here and represent all of us. And they are up against violent, evil, stupid people who want to make them the boogeyman instead. It's not going to be easy in this fight for democracy, y'all. I don't pretend like it's going to. We are really up against loyal ignorance to hate and division. We are up against people who just really want to say, fuck our democracy, create factions and think tanks and ways to make it harder for communities to thrive and live openly as who we are. They want an anti-America. For all of you who talk about your freedoms and your liberty, you just want the freedom to be awful, while the rest of us feel less than. And we cannot allow that to go on in our country. This isn't a matter of a difference of opinion anymore. This isn't a matter of teams, red versus blue. This is literally putting our lives and communities on the line for people who don't give a fuck about us and are too stupid to realize that they will be cannon fodder in whatever machinations Project 2025 have. So we must work together to ensure that doesn't happen, not just in this election, but every election beyond that on the state, local, and federal level. We cannot keep going backwards because that's all they want to hearken to. They think making America great again means going backwards. The rest of us are just trying to get into the future. We want cleaner energy. We want health care for all of our citizens. We want no child actually left behind and not through test scores, but through actual fundamental teaching and people that will work with kids at any pace. We don't want them to have to struggle for free lunch or free sanitary products. Because in an America that I envision, no one has to suffer such indignities. We want people who understand that the bodies that they were born into don't resonate with their spirit, so they can get the proper counseling and medical procedures to fix that. We want people who are grown adults who love another grown adult who happen to be safe sex to be able to get married, live, and thrive in our country without the constant hate and bigotry of the right wing. And if that's not the America you envision, well, tough shit, because you are not on the side of those of us who are willing to fight for our democracy, to fight for the freedom that you will wear on a shirt with an American flag and eagle in one hand, but ignore the fact that you want to march us into anything but freedom under Trump and Project 2025. I am not going to have that. Too many of us have lost people when Trump was in power. Too many countries were backstabbed and betrayed while he cuddled up to literal dictators who are now causing wars that yous all want us to interfere in, but only the way yous want. That's not how the fucking world of geopolitics works. And I am saying this. Check your ballots, check your registration, because we can't just fight the misinformation on social media. We have to vote in ways that they cannot screw against, in ways they cannot cheat against. We need to show up and show fascism as no room to breathe here in our country, because America is our country, whether they like it or not. But I'm going to get ready to wrap this up, y'all. Thank you so much for sitting in, Terry Antico and Beans. I will be back on Tuesday for another Bonnet Chronicles. I will be back tomorrow. I'm excited, y'all. We are so close to getting our book printed. I went on Google Gemini to generate some AI images for the artist that I want to design the book cover. And as you can see, the image of a black woman holding the earth. The story that I finished means so much to me on so many levels because it touches upon dehumanization. It touches upon the people that just want better for all of us, constantly being knocked down, dehumanized, and ignoring our collective power and how foolish that would be. So I look forward to the next book's launch because I want people to understand that I could take what I'm living and experiencing and weave it into science fiction in a way that makes people understand that we cannot go back. And that there are politicians and people who will smile in your fucking face while literally leading you to the gallows in their fascism utopia. But I will see you all soon. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for sitting in. Thank you to those who will rewatch this when I upload it to YouTube. I'm going to go cool down, make some dinner for the family, and just relax because there's so much work to do. The road to November is not going to be easy, but I know I'm not alone in this. We will protect our democracy, and we will be saying congratulations and welcoming soon-to-be President Harris and VP Walz into the White House. See y'all soon.